This is just a small intro just to say it's just opinions. Message me yours, whatever. It's nothing, it's not like cynical. It's not I'm supposed to be saying other people are wrong. This is just my views on what I think of the game, and that's it. It's nothing bad. It's just thoughts. Everyone has thoughts, everyone has opinions. I would like to hear yours too. So, I'd like to humbly welcome you to watch my wonderful video that's taken me a ridiculous amount of time to actually get done. And please excuse my hair, I was caught in the rain and I just came back from dinner. So there you go. Thank you and enjoy the video. And another quick note, I know that I've used music from the first game. Don't at me, it was my favourite from it. And I know I gave a lot of limitations warning for spoilers, but I'm going to just warn again. So, I'm spoiling the entire fucking game. So you've been warned, basically. Okay, I'm going to start this by saying that most of my gameplay is from my early second collectible run. It's early on, so none of Abby's gameplay is gonna be in it, but obviously I will talk about her later on. And it's direct from PS4 capture because my computer is very old and will not handle anything else but that. I'm new to the whole video editing thing, so please bear with me. It's like bare minimum free fucking software. It's it's not particularly the best, but it'll get the point. It'll get the job done.
How you doing back there? Getting homesick?
I have a lot to say about this game, and I'll try and stay as structured as I can and make it easy to follow. I might jump all over the place, but that's just me telling a story. I can't stay linear if I fucking tried. So please bear with me. I'm trying. I'm trying to make sense. I have literally waited 7 years for this game, and in my opinion, the first game was an utter fucking masterpiece. I was fucking obsessed with it back in 2014 when I first got it. When I first got my PlayStation 3, honestly, it was all I played, it was all I spoke about. I played it 10 times in total. My love and my emotion for that game just hasn't changed no matter what. I have Endured and Survived tattooed across my collarbone. It was my game of the decade and it will always be very, very special to me. Which is why I think it's kind of important I try to get what I want to say across. And with that, my first point will be that I think the performances in this game are absolutely amazing. They were all fantastic. Everything, voice acting, everything like that, amazing. But I really think that Ashley Johnson's performance as Ellie was utterly outstanding. She really blew me away. Every scene she was in, it was perfect, and I really, really think she should get an award for it. I just think that it's one of the best pieces of acting I've ever seen in a game, and I play a lot of fucking games. On the subject of the actors, people who give anybody disgusting messages over a game seriously needs to fuck off. They're doing their job, and treating anybody like that is awful. Stop sending hate mail to these people. They're doing a fucking job. You don't like it, write about it. Be sensible. Don't be a prick. And I'll say now, I don't hate this game, but I understand why people didn't like it. Again, I don't condone hate to the cast who are doing their job. Don't throw hate at people who worked on the art and stuff like that. People who were doing anything towards the game, they're just doing their job. Please just leave them alone. I found the controls on this game to be much tighter. I found the gameplay improved a lot more from the first as well. The addition of the prone state, the more crafting options, finding clues for the safes, the sort of like the more in-depth crafting system, upgrading system, sorry. More, the more infected, the little puzzles it sort of gives you to solve, you can find around the world, like you get different, you can find parts, you can find cards, all the collectibles and stuff. It was all really good, like the open world sort of parts, it's like some of it's here in my gameplay. The section of Seattle was so enjoyable to me. You could choose which way you wanted to go, and like the rope gameplay reminded me so much of Uncharted 4. I shouted yes at my TV at like the top of my lungs when I first played it. And the slides as well, when you're like sliding down different parts, I found that to be quite very Uncharted like, which was, oh, that's another big thing for me. Anyway, I know I'm showing like parts of like a massive fight, but I'm just going to talk briefly about the soundtrack and how it's amazing. Just like the first game, this game's soundtrack's no different. Well, it is different, but you know what I mean. Like the quality, it's amazing. It's so good, and I love the guitar playing sections. I'm not showing them now, but I will later on. They'll come into it. This isn't actually in my notes that I was following right now, but I know that I read on Facebook or something in comments someone bitching about how, oh, who cares, it's only like simple chords, it's not really a big deal, because people were talking about how cool it was. And I was like, And then someone's like, oh, that like using the touchpad's not like strumming a guitar. It's like, well, no shit. No one said it was playing the guitar. Some people said they just learnt songs from it. Like, what the fuck? It just really amused me. There's unfortunately a game-breaking bug, which fortunately I didn't get, but one of my friends did. And by picking the dome first in Seattle, the lift doesn't load and you end up not being able to progress. I don't know if this is fixed yet, but I thought it'd be worth a mention because it was a nightmare for him. I was like trying to help him fix it and stuff, but luckily he managed to sort it with restarting the chapter, I think. Oh yeah, some nice cutscenes. Sorry, I'm getting really distracted by the cutscenes. I'm not joking when I say like some parts of this game scared the utter fucking shit out of me. Like that thing at the bottom of the fucking hospital. I think it's the Rat King, please correct me if I'm wrong. But that thing, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm surprised I didn't have fucking nightmares from that thing. And the stalker, when it comes out the walls at the hospital, when you're playing as Abby, that thing grabbed me when I was like, you're like balancing over the beams, and then like getting down from the sky bridges or whatever later on in the game, and you have to go through the hospital. Yeah, one of those grabbed me and I honestly shot myself. Which is a good thing. It's kind of what you want from this sort of thing. I mean, I'm a giant fucking pussy, so I'm scared of everything, but still. I know that for some, the sheer brutal violence of the post-apocalyptic world, I read some things that other people would say, like it was too violent or it was torture porn, etc. Of course, like everyone has an opinion, they're like arseholes, we all have them. Considering the game has such, like it's dark and angry, full of revenge, it's like revenge stories, I don't think that the graphic violence is actually that particularly shocking. I mean, I'm also very squeamish, so I looked away at times. It didn't ruin my enjoyment of the game or anything. That kind of world, it's to be expected. It's like people are animals, and it would be that violent. I know it's not for everyone, and I know it might have been too much for people. maybe there could have been a way to censor it. Maybe, well, censor it kind of in a way, like as a choice sort of thing, on like a lower difficulty. That could have been a possibility. Um, and if it ruins like other people's um experience, then I'm sorry, but it is what it is, isn't it? Now for this story, the most controversial part. I have many mixed feelings on this, and I will try to word it as best I can. I'm gonna apologise now in case I forget to record another video at the beginning. I sound really breathy at some points. I sound like I'm out of breath. It's because I'm forgetting to, because I'm trying to concentrate on so much different things at the same time, and my brain just doesn't process it. So I'm gonna apologise for that if that's getting annoying. I I'm fucking trying. I'll start with the part of the story where like the whole Ellie and Dina sections where like they're going around they're doing their little park, going around on patrol. I couldn't remember the word there. And I I like those sections, you know, when they like find the weed and people were bitching about that, but I thought it was like cute and cheesy in like a good way. It made me smile, so you know that's why I enjoyed it. And I didn't have particularly any problems with it. The and the whole part about her being pregnant didn't bother me either, probably because it didn't actually surprise me. And I did like Jesse as a character as well, and when he got shot in the face, that upset me a little bit.
Hey, Joel. Don't you dare take it off. My
Abby and her little crew head to Jackson to go and club Joel to death. And when it got up to the points of leading to it, I knew that something was going to happen to Joel, and it actually broke my fucking heart. Like, I had to pause the game to like cry for about 20 minutes. Honestly, I was bawling. I was in a PlayStation party with my friends, and I just went dead silent, and I had to like run off and go get something for my face. Honestly, I was heartbroken when I saw this. And with Ellie like shouting, like shouting and begging her to stop as well. Like, oh Jesus Christ, that was a whole moment. And then Abby does it because Joel shot her dad, who was a firefly, and she and the other fireflies come down to hunt down Joel.
And when can we see it?
And here's where I think that maybe having Abby's sections could have been DLC. I did like the two perspectives. I thought it was a really interesting like concept of having you're seeing the two sides of different stories, and it's like you're always sort of wanting to see more of Ellie and Joel, but then you see it from a different perspective, which I liked. That was a good thing. I just thought personally that they tried to force Abby onto people, like they tried to really make people like her. I liked her. I didn't have a problem with her, personally, but I found that parts of her gameplay were dragged a bit. I started to get kind of bored.
Did you know this was here?
The whole Scars and the WLF faction. Please, like, excuse my ignorance for not understanding how that's political. I read people saying about how it was too political, but I didn't actually understand why. If someone would message me and tell me, I'd be grateful, because I really just don't get that. I'm going to quickly add in before I forget. I was playing earlier on getting some collectibles, and the addition of the new environments and the sort of level designs and stuff were done very well. I really enjoyed them, and I liked how finding all the collectibles was good, kind of going back to when I was talking about gameplay stuff, but I forgot to put that in and only realised it just now, so I'm doing it before I forget. And also this is one of my favourite flashback sequences. I might shut up a minute just to let the next part just play, because it's just such a moment. It's so nice.
See radiation exposure at high altitudes. They
did they become superfly?
What the heck?
Oh! Okay. Wow.
Wow.
As you look at all these buttons.
Oh, it's so badass. Man. Could you imagine just...
Happy birthday, kiddo.
What is this?
This is a thing that took a mighty effort to find. Take it. Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Fun fact, I also bawled my eyes out playing this part too. Oh, it was just so heartwarming. This fucking game, man, like, it just makes me feel a roller coaster of emotions. I'm also gonna cut this part short because the next scene is one I actually want to talk about. It's one of my favourite scenes in the entire game, and I think it is one where the acting really stands out too.
Keep looking around, huh?
This flashback scene where Joel finally admits to Ellie that he lied is my personal favourite scene of this entire game. It's so powerful, it's so real, it captures what I would want from a Last of Us game. In this whole scene, it just captures every single thing that I would go on about why I'm such a fan of the first game, why I'm a fan of this game, why I'm a fan of the whole thing, or in general. I always said at the end of the first game that Ellie had an idea that Joel didn't tell the truth, and now we see her going back to the hospital to find out the truth, and that's why she went back, because she knew herself 100% that Joel didn't tell her everything. And
Tell me what happened here.
honestly, I'm getting distracted by the gameplay again, but honestly, the acting in this is
If you lie to
just
me one more
perfect as
time,
well.
I'm gone.
I know I'm like blowing my load over like one scene, but like
You will never
I'm
see
gonna
me
shut
again.
up just now because the scene says everything
But if you tell me the truth,
better than I ever could.
I'll go back to Jackson.
But I will quickly add Ashley Johnson,
No matter what
100%
it
needs a
is.
fucking award for this game.
Joel.
Making a vaccine. Would have killed you. So I stopped them.
Oh my god. Don't you fucking touch me! I'll go back. But we're done.
The build for Lev, Yara and Abby's relationship was done quite well. It was just obvious where it was going, and their contrast in their relationships with Ellie and Joel's from the first game, it had me thinking more like I want to see Ellie more. I want to see her dealing with all these awful feelings that she's got. You know, she's like so torn between wanting to go and get Abby, not sleeping at night, not being able to handle all these negative emotions, but yet she has actually got what she wanted, in a way, but yet she's still not being able to process these things. And in case you haven't actually played through the game, you play through as Ellie first, and then you play through as Abby. So you do get to know more of the old Fireflies that Ellie hunts down, and you start getting to know more like about them when you play as Abby, obviously. But the only ones I actually liked was Mel, and of course Abby. I found the rest just to be intolerable pricks. More so Owen and Manny. Like when Tommy shot him, I actually cheered. I actually laughed. I thought it was funny, and I'm like, Jesus, I'm sick. But oh, he just done my fucking head in. When you do get to the fight at the theatre and you're playing as Abby, I honestly thought the game was going to end. And because you control Abby, I really didn't want to hurt Ellie. I was like, I really don't want to hurt her. Like, let me go back and play as Ellie. Let me go back and play as Ellie. And Abby sort of corners her, gets her down. I can't remember how the fight actually goes. I haven't seen it in a while, but Abby gets her down and says something like, I don't want to see you again, and she lets her go, which is I think that's quite a good sort of message for the story itself. You know, like they're in this so horrible cycle of revenge. They've killed so many people. If the game actually did end at that point, like, I wouldn't have been mad. Like, I would have been quite happy, because I honestly didn't want them to kill each other. And obviously, a bit later on, we find out they don't, but that's a whole thing. I didn't want them to kill each other, because obviously they were taught by their father figures not to do that. They don't just kill because they can, they kill because they have to, sort of thing. They're survivors, they're all survivors. The world sucks, it's post-apocalyptic, people are fucking disgusting, they're animals, like I said earlier. So then you get Ellie, Dina and JJ are in their happy, peaceful farmhouse outside Jackson. Ellie struggles with the flashbacks, seeing Joel. Like I spoke about earlier, she's not dealing with her feelings and things. Tommy appears and is pretty much just being an arsehole, telling Ellie basically it would disappoint Joel if she didn't go where he tracked down Abby to go and fuck her up. Puts her on this massive guilt trip so that she ends up fucking off, going to do it just because his leg is knackered and he can't do it.
Ugh, I suck.
Like, I know I don't actually have the footage of it because I haven't got to that bit again, but honestly, it just enraged me how much of a tosser he was. And then what cheered me up a little bit about it was the fact that Dina went out and went out the house after him and basically told him what the fuck is all this about? Why are you saying this to her? Why are you putting the idea in her head? She doesn't need to go do that. Dina cries, begs Ellie not to go, and Ellie goes anyway, and she's like, I have to finish this, or something along the lines of that. And Dina's crying, holding JJ. She's leaving her happy, peaceful life just to go back out and start the cycle all over again. And then we've switched back to playing as Abby again. Abby and Lev are looking for the fireflies. You wander around Santa Barbara, if I remember the name of the place correctly. For some reason I didn't write it down. And they get captured by a faction called the Rattlers. They pretended to be the fireflies, and this big dude came out of nowhere and nailed Lev with a clothesline from hell. And there was a good contrast, I think, between what Abby did to Joel and how she got tied up and was shouting at them to leave Lev alone. I thought that was a nice contrast. But before they got captured, I actually got legitimately hopeful. I was like, holy shit, is there actually fireflies? I was like, what? There's fucking fireflies still alive? No way. And then they captured them, and Lev and Abby are pretty much up shit creek right now. Then we go back to playing as Ellie, and we mince a bunch of these rattlers. We get caught in one of their traps, and we're hanging upside down for a bit, and she gets stabbed. She either gets stabbed by a tree branch, I think. She's pissing blood from her side. It's all nasty and stuff like that. Kind of reminded me of that bit in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, when Lara comes out of the water. And she was all covered in shit. Yeah, someone will know what I'm talking about. Kind of reminded me of that. I thought that was pretty cool. But Ellie gets herself out of this trap. She's bleeding. She's covered in shit. She minces a whole bunch of guys. She manages to track down Abby when they're all stuck against this pole. It was pretty nasty, actually. They follow each other to the boats, and Ellie's like, I need to finish this. I will fight you. And then goes for her. And Abby's sort of hesitant, I don't want to fight you anymore. I just want to get Lev out of here. I just want to help him. And then Ellie's like, no, you will fight me. So they end up having a massive fight. Two of them nearly drowning at some point, trying to drown each other, stuff like that. And then Ellie goes to go for a killing blow. But then that flashback of Joel playing the guitar just appears, and she stops. She lets Abby go. Well, she just sits in the water crying and bleeding. It was so powerful. I started crying when Joel appeared. I honestly just couldn't stop my tears. They just started pissing down my face. And also, Ellie lost 3 of her fingers. Some nasty injuries due to this whole hunting down Abby again. I'm going to finish off by saying that I don't hate this game. I love it. I paid for the collector's edition and I don't regret it. I do get what they were going for, yet if there was less Abby, WLF and scars of more of the whole core Ellie and Joel story arc, if that makes any sense. Even though I did Yara and Lev. I just didn't care about them as much as Joel and Ellie. I didn't care about Abby as much as Joel and Ellie. I wanted to know about them. Like, I wanted to see them more. By the end of the whole thing, I just didn't give a fuck about the Scars and the WLF. Like, they could have killed each other all day, every day, as far as I was concerned. Like, and the fact that Ellie ended up being alone, like, hurts my heart. But then I was told that the end might not be as it seems, because at first she's like, you know, she was all covered in shit, but then like she's clean, she's not injured, she's got Dina's bracelet on, stuff like that, so she might have just went back to visit it. She might actually still have went back to go and see Dina. That makes me feel a bit better about it, but I don't think that Santa Barbara necessarily needed to actually happen. I think that Ellie could have just stayed at the farmhouse and it just could have ended there. A nice little happy ending sort of thing. But I mean, I liked how it ended. I did like how it ended. You know, it was very, very symbolic, and I respect that, and I always appreciate symbolism and things. But it just felt like a filler. Like it was trying to blow out more of the game, if that makes sense. Like that was just kind of the impressions I got. I don't hate this game. I love this game, and I will always say to people, look, it's not perfect. Nothing is. Let's have a nice little discussion about it. And that's how we'll end it. This is just a quick little outro to thank everyone for watching my video, for giving a shit about my stupid opinions on a video game. But most importantly, it's because I sent my notes and sort of like scribbles to some friends to read so that it makes sense. I want to thank them specifically. They know who they are. And those who just kept encouraging me to like keep doing it. So thank you to everyone for that. And again, just thanks for bothering to look at my stupid fucking video on the internet with countless others. But yeah, I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna fuck off. But I appreciate it so fucking much, and take care and good night.